Let's talk about relationship empathy. Now, notice I said empathy, not sympathy. These are different things. They're both important, and I think they both play a role in a healthy relationship dynamic, but often empathy sort of gets left out of the conversation. So I want to bring it to the forefront and give you some tips on how to start developing relationship empathy in your relationship. So first, what I want you to imagine is that when you have sympathy for someone, you can recognize that they are struggling. Maybe you feel sorry for them. Maybe you express that you worry about them or are concerned about them. Empathy takes that to the next level. This is where you can put yourself in the other person's shoes and really ask yourself, what would it be like to experience life or to experience whatever it is they're going through from their perspective? This is tough because our brains like to keep us stuck in what we know, thinking about ourselves, staying sort of focused on the here and now about what's going on with us, when empathy requires us to really put ourselves in the other person's shoes and try to understand things through their lens, through their perspective. The way this comes in really handy in a relationship, especially when you're having communication struggles or you're trying to develop healthier communication, is that you stop assuming that the way your partner is reacting is the same way that you would react. It may not be. It might be in some situations, but it may not be like across the board that way. So a good way to develop empathy is to really ask your partner, can you tell me more about what your experience is like? Can you give me some insight into what it is you're feeling right now? Let me pause for a second. Let me think about what it might be to experience that, whatever that thing is, from your perspective. A lot of times in relationships, we have a tendency to take things personally. We sort of, get our feelings hurt, or something occurs and we take it personally and then we shut down, or we start throwing kind of emotional barbs at each other and we're not really taking the time to slow down and ask, I wonder what's going on for them. I wonder what's making them respond that way. Can I pause for a second, put myself in their shoes and try to understand it better? Now, I'm not asking you to read your partner's mind, okay? This requires communication, really being able to say, I wonder what it's like for them, and if I don't understand it, can I ask them to clarify it for me? Can I ask them to tell me about their experience? Sometimes in a relationship, also what happens is that when we see our partner struggling or upset, or maybe we don't like something that's going on, we jump into fix-it mode and we start feeling like we have to give them a solution, or we have to tell them what to do, or we have to somehow tell them what they're doing wrong. When what I have found clinically in both my therapy and my coaching practice is that so often we just want to be heard. We just want to be listened to. We just want to know that our person has our back. This goes into that same team mentality that we talk about so frequently, both on my podcast, in my blog, and in lots of the things that I do here on social media. This idea that you are on the same team with your partner. Part of developing that same team mentality, instead of me against you, it's us against the world, right? Empathy helps to build that relationship connection. It helps your partner feel loved and cared for. It helps them feel like you really understand where they're coming from. And then they also have to give you that same courtesy. Taking turns using relationship empathy and really letting each person have a chance to show up fully with the full range of emotion without fear that the other person is going to take it personally, without worried that the minute you voice a concern, they go into fix-it mode or they get their feelings hurt. And that's the reason downloading my relationship communication guide really gives you a head start, because it allows you to start thinking of things rather than me against them as how can we start to develop communication patterns that are really healthy and beneficial for both of us. It is possible. Yes, it does take work, but I'm going to keep talking about elements that go into developing a healthy relationship communication pattern so that you can implement those tools into your life.